Hey guys, Miss Russ here again. Hopefully you are watching these videos to get some of your modifications. I do them so that way you can listen to the readings and you can understand better what's going on in the class, especially with this new kind of system of learning. It's kind of beneficial for you guys to have somebody really walk you through things. So make sure you are really watching these videos, okay? I did post the agenda today. That is posted so that way you can see exactly what you're supposed to do now. And now we're going to go through the News ELA article about the Babylonian Empire. We did talk about the Babylonians yesterday in our reading about the Fertile Crescent and Mesopotamia. So this is all kind of review, and hopefully this article is going to kind of go over things once again. Okay, just to kind of clarify and review again, I do suggest you putting your video either on your left or right screen side of the screen, kind of like minimizing it and maybe putting the video that I do on your right side and then you do it on your own on the left. That way you can see it kind of happening at the same time and you can read through if you want. At the end of the article, I will be reading through the quiz. So that way you can pause and play and just listen to the questions as the quiz is happening. Okay, so it might make things a little bit easier. So to get to your News ELA article, you're going to click on classwork. You're going to go all the way down, excuse me, all the way down to the end of the screen. This is where your News ELA articles are. So you're going to click on Babylonian Empire because that is what we are going to do today. And we are going to start reading about the Babylonian Empire. I might have to post the Mesopotamia song on Google Classroom because it does sound. We do have some things that are going through these readings that should remind you of that Mesopotamia song. So I might have to post that today or tomorrow or maybe we'll see. All right, so the Babylonian Empire. We'll start right underneath of this great picture, the Tower of Babel. And we're actually going to talk about the Hanging Gardens today, so that's kind of cool. All right. Thousands of years ago, many groups lived in a region of the world called Mesopotamia. The name Mesopotamia means land between two rivers. The area got its name because it's located between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. All review there. Sumer was one of the first civilizations in Mesopotamia. The Samaritans built the first known cities in the area. They also invented cuneiform, a system of writing. Since Babylonia was located in the middle of the southern part of Mesopotamia, the Babylonians controlled a large empire. They came up with many new laws built on the advances of the Sumerians. The Babylonians created the first written system of laws, built a huge tower, and designed one of the seven wonders of the world. Babylonia stretched from the present-day Iraq south to the Persian Gulf. Its capital city was the famous Babylon. The first written mention of Babylon dates back about 3,800 BC, nearly 6,000 years ago. During that time, most of Mesopotamia was made up of the Sumerian city-states. Babylon was one of these. It was, scroll down, it was not very important to the politics of the time. Next section, the First Empire. Over the next 1,500 years, the Mesopotamia city-states competed with each other for power. Then, in 1792 BC, almost 4,000 years ago, a new ruler took control of Babylonia. His name was Hammurabi. He ruled for more than 40 years. Hammurabi led soldiers through the region, taking over their territories. In this way, he united most of the area. This was when the city of Babylon reached its first great glory. The years during and following Hammurabi's reign were known as the First Empire. During this time, Babylonian rulers built roads and extensive canal system. They also wrote down laws. Next to Babylonia was an empire called Assyria. Assyrian kings eventually took over. The Assyrian kings destroyed the first Babylonian empire and left behind war and destruction in their wake. They ruled in Mesopotamia from about 1400 to 600 BC. After that, the Babylonians established a second great empire. King, I'm going to say it one time and then we're going to try and go past it because it's kind of harder to say. Nabopolassar was a Chaldean. Chaldea was a region of southern Mesopotamia. He helped to conquer the Syrian capital of Nebaea in 606 BC. He used the opportunity to establish his own kingdom in Babylon. His son took over in 604 BC. During his son's reign, the Tower of Babel reached its height. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon were constructed. Babylonians destroyed the Great Temple in Jerusalem, and 7,000 Jews were brought back to Babylonia as prisoners. The Tower of Babel. The Tower of Babel was a ziggurat, a pyramid-shaped temple built to honor a god, kind of like a church, like a huge church. The Babylonians worshipped many different gods. That is called polytheism, right? We talked about monotheism yesterday being one god that they worship, but if you worship many gods, it's called polytheism. Okay. The most important god was Marduk. Construction of the Tower of Babel began around 1100 BC when he finished it. The tower was almost 300 feet tall. It was about as tall as the Statue of Liberty. According to the tablet left by the king, it was made of baked brick enamel in brilliant blue. A story in the Bible made the Tower of Babel famous. The builders of the tower thought they could build a tower high in the sky. They were proud of this, but it made God angry. As a punishment, the people of the world were divided. God made them speak different languages. Then they could not work together to build the tower. The Hanging Gardens. So it's his name, you say Nebuchadnezzar. Kind of harder. Built the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, one of the 7 wonders of the world. It was a gift for his wife who missed her lush homeland. The gardens did not actually hang, quote unquote. The plants didn't dangle from ropes. Hanging refers to the garden's terraces, which overhung one another. It makes a terraced garden what makes a terraced garden special enough to be one of the 7 wonders of the world? Part of the answer has to do with the garden's amazing design. Babylon received little rain. Engineers designed a chain pump that brought the water from the Euphrates River. Special bricks were made to keep the plants in place. The result was a green oasis. Today, researchers believe the garden rose between 80 and 300 feet into the air. It was a mountain of lush greenery in the middle of a flat, dry desert. Ultimately, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon disappeared. The Tower of Babel and the Babylonian Empire were destroyed by Persians around the year 478 BC. The sands of time cannot hide the great achievements of the Babylonians. However, thousands of years ago, they made huge strides in engineering, law, art, and architecture. Okay, so you guys can actually scroll down. If I go back into it, you can scroll all the way down to the end of the News ELA article, and you can find the actual quiz that I posted on Google Classroom. And if you wanted to, you could take a picture, like you could print it out, do the questions on paper, and then send me a picture via email. That's up to you guys. I do suggest actually going into Google Classroom and actually doing the quiz there, though. All right. So we have our News ELA articles. I'm going to minimize. Actually, I'm going to go back. All the way at the bottom of the page, like I said before, to find your News ELA, there's going to be a quiz. Okay. So I'm going to click on this quiz. Open up the quiz here. And remember what I said before about making the minimizing. This is where you're going to want to minimize and have this option, okay? You can have your video over here of me talking, and then you can have your quiz over here, so that way you can pause if you want to, all right? Okay, so question number 1. Select the statement that best summarizes the article. A. The Babylonians competed with other city-states over power and came up with many new ideas and achievements. B. The Babylonians lived in the middle part of Mesopotamia, where present-day Iraq and Persian Gulf are located. C. The Babylonian hanging gardens and Tower of Babel were destroyed by the Persians around 478 BC. Or D. The Babylonian Empire created new laws and roads when it was taken over by Hammurabi in 1792 BC. So you're picking the one that best summarizes the article. Number 2, what is the main idea of this section, the hanging garden? So the main idea of this specific section. Many people are confused about the fact that hanging gardens are not actually hanging. B, many engineers had to work on the hanging gardens because Babylon received little rain. C, the hanging gardens were a wonder because they were specially designed to grow plants in the desert. Or D, the hanging gardens were destroyed by the Persians because they did not think they were beautiful. Number 3, read the paragraph from this section, First Empire. Which phrase from the paragraph helps the reader understand what an empire is? A, united most of this area. B, was when the city. C, years during and following. Or D, extensive canal system. Which phrase best helps the reader understand what empire is? And then 4, read the sentence from the section Hanging Gardens. What does the author mean about huge strides? A, long and fast runs. B, important steps forward. C, many dangerous travels. Or D, giant new machines. So which phrase best explains what huge strides mean? All right. So that is what you are doing today. That's all you have to do. All right. If you have any questions, you can always shoot me an email or shoot me a message via Google Classroom. And I will see you guys tomorrow with day 3. All right. Have a great one. See ya.